I picked up a new tool. Let me explain to you why I can't use it quite yet. Okay, right up front, I'm not thrilled with how little progress I made this week. I will show you where I went wrong, and it was all on me. It was planning. Okay, before I get started on the engine bay, a couple things need to happen. I need to pull that transmission and drive shaft, and I also need to get up here and get some of the parts down that I know I'm going to use. Easiest way to do that is to move the Mustang, and I think I want to flip it around anyway. So I want the engine bay facing back near the tool boxes and the welder and everything. That'll make life a lot easier. If I recall from the last time I pulled this transmission out, in order to get enough clearance with it on that motorcycle jack, I actually had to jack up the front of the car a lot higher than normally you would think. So let me see what I can do about safely getting everything out of the way. Okay, I didn't really show any details of this because honestly it's not that exciting. I got the transmission back out again. Probably can't see it. The drive shaft is up on the shelf braces there, so up and out of the way. Ignore those other two. These are just in case jack stands, just in case these slip off or fall. The exhaust is still attached at the rear, and the rear pumpkin and axle and everything is still in there. I think I want to leave it in there. So what I'll do is I'll just use a strap to hold the exhaust up and out of the way. And I think what I'm going to do next is move the car, pull it forward so I can get things down off of the shelves, and then do a little dance and spin it around and make it go nose first into the garage. Okay, the Mustang is all turned around. We're in the bright end of the garage next to all the tools. Great access. Transmission's up and out of the way. Drive shaft we already talked about. That's up there. I went ahead, kind of best practice. I've thanked myself so many times, bagged everything up and Sharpied on it as I took the bolts and nuts and everything off. Knowing me, if I just throw everything in a bucket, I'm literally never going to find this stuff again. So one of the things I'm going to need to do is remove all of my suspension. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Remove my power steering setup there. Probably have to remove brake booster, steering box, like all of the stuff that's attached in here, get the engine mounts out of the way. And I really want to get in and evaluate all of the sheet metal, all of the frames. They feel pretty solid, but I really want to dig in, see if I've got any issues going on anywhere. We talked a while ago about my shock tower and how these were welded up. I really want to clean up those welds and really just kind of dig in and make sure I don't have any underlying issues that are hidden underneath the welds there. But I wanted to take a look at the new panels. You can see this one still hasn't been opened up, so, you know, good on me for inspecting it when it first arrived. I think I got all of these from CJ Pony Part. There's your number there for the rear part of the passenger apron. This one doesn't have a sticker. I imagine it's kind of the same, made in Taiwan. And I also have the battery tray, which is going to go something like down here once everything's said and done. There's your part number for that as well. We've got, cheap stampings. We're not expecting perfection here. You can see some buckling at the corners, some imperfections there. I am not worried about any of that. That's just going to hammer flat when I install. But let me show you some of the things that will need to be addressed. So lining it up, kind of first glance, it looks halfway decent, right? It's got all the holes in the right spot, which is a good starting point. One thing that I did notice, the radius here and the radius here, the repop is a larger radius, so it's not as sharp. However, let's come over to the driver's side. The driver's side, I'm pretty sure it's got the original VINs and everything, so I'm I'm certain that this is factory, but this radius is actually broader or more round than the passenger side, which also has the VIN. So I don't think I'm going to worry about that. I think I'm okay with this new radius. It's actually, I'll see if I can measure them, and maybe this one's a little tighter, but it's definitely a larger radius than the passenger. The real thing that I'm concerned about or want to make sure I do well is having this extra VIN, the passenger side VIN. If I replace this entire panel, which definitely seems like the easier way to go, I'm going to want to carefully and meticulously transfer this VIN to the new panel right about here. All right, and yeah, let me go ahead and I'm going to put the camera down, open this up because I'm going to need my other hand, and see if I can get a good feel for this. And similarly, I need to determine how much of this panel I'm going to use. The radius actually looks halfway decent. It's got the nice little indents, if you can see it under there. But the real trick is this buckling here. I'm going to need to probably take a hammer to this new panel and recreate that buckle because, you know, you want it to match. Yeah, I might end up replacing this whole panel. We will see once I get everything undone and really just kind of get a look at it. Now, before I do any of that, I'm going to have to remove the suspension, these springs, which have an interesting spacer. It looks like they put this in to raise the ride height, which is fascinating. But anyway, I'm going to need to compress these springs, which is inherently dangerous. I'm quite frankly afraid to do it. I've heard nightmares and read stories about when it goes terribly wrong. It's a lot of stored energy in there, the old and the new. So I have ordered and on the way a spring compressor designed for these cars. Talking with folks, it is the one to use. Okay, I got a package from National Parts Depot today. It comes with usual catalog. I have not checked this out yet. However, there's part number. Yeah, so especially when you get to installation of the new spring, I think that's really where it's going to shine. I've got a new spring sitting here, and I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if I'll be able to show you how much. We're on the way to the vehicle right now, but how much that spring is actually compressed. It's good several inches, even without the engine in there. So I think what I'm going to do is keep it with the weight of the car on it, take the shock out, and replace it with that spring compressor and see if I can tighten it down. So I just noticed the driver's side has one of those spacers in there as well. I'm assuming that the front springs were starting to wear out and they wanted to raise the ride height and put those in there. Granted, I'm not an expert, but I have not seen this elsewhere. Let me know if this is actually common. I'm curious. Okay, I've got the car centered in the middle of the garage. Hopefully I don't need to get up here and get too much stuff off the shelves. Just realized I'm going to want to get up there and get those. Anyway, so I'll go ahead and we'll start on this side of the car just because I've got more room. Remove the wheel, and I'll probably put the jack stands underneath the little engine mount points there and there, just so it's out of the way of the suspension. I could also go underneath the torque box. It's kind of a decent place to go, but yeah, I'll put this up on jack stands, loosen the wheel, get this out of the way, and then, yeah, remove the shock and then see about installing the tool. Okay, I've got the shock out of the way. I did test fit up the tool. It does fit in nicely. So what I'm going to do, I need to grease up these threads. I've got some black lithium grease that should work well enough, and then mount the tool in where the shock went, secure everything down, and then we can give it a go. Well, this is funny. I got everything tightened down, secured, ready to go, and went and grabbed my largest wrench, which is a 1-inch. Didn't fit over. I've got sockets this big, but not a wrench. So it takes 1.25 inches. Okay. We'll see if I can do this with an adjustable wrench or something. If not, I'll run to, I guess, Harbor Freight and get a single-use tool. So I got the threads all greased up with the black lithium grease, got the tool installed, attached to the lower perch, attached to the upper mount point there, and got the wheel out of the way, and then I started compressing it, and then it actually dawned on me at that point, this might not work out quite the way I had planned. So it occurs to me, because this is essentially sandwiching the spring between the upper mount and the perch, you can't, like with other compressors, just compress the spring, take it out, and set it aside. It's hooked up to the car, so you need to compress the spring, detach the perch from the upper arm, and then decompress or uncompress the spring, and then remove it. I think that's going to require, or I know that's going to require, a lot more disassembly of the suspension, which I do want to do, right? I'm going to be replacing all these parts and stripping everything down, but I don't want to do that right now, mostly because of space, and I've got some other projects going on that I want to get up and out of the way before I do that. So I'm going to hit pause on this for now and revisit the removing of the springs for probably another weekend. Well, that's a little disappointing. I wish I had realized that a little earlier. I was hoping to make a little more progress today, but that's okay. I'd rather stick with the safer route, and since I'm removing everything anyway, might as well just carve out some time, do everything all at once. If you're still with me, thank you so much for watching. We're going to tackle this pretty soon. This is the last video of 2025. It has been a busy year, mostly outside of the garage, but also in. Yeah, hope everyone has had a great year, rolls into 2026 and continues to do well.